people, by reason of their reckless upbringing, don't see any reason why they need God. Some people do not even think that there is God. There are people that don't believe because they have so much money. Some time ago, somebody told me, I called someone and said, hope you are praying. And the man said, no, I could do that if I was in Nigeria, but now I'm in America. What do I need prayer for? Everything here is working. The systems are working. There is justice. There is equity. There is law and order. So why do I need to pray? So see, that's a very myopic person who believes he doesn't need God. He believes he has gotten to a pedestal or is in a country, a nation, where they don't need God. Not knowing that the foundation of the Americans is the foundation of godliness. The founding fathers believed in God. Even in their currency, it is written, in God we trust. There are people that feel they don't need God. Why do we need God? We need to consider it. Why do I, as a person, need God? There are people, don't forget in Luke chapter 12, the Bible talks about a man whose barns produced so much, and the man had so much money. You know, he erected more barns, and he said to himself, I will, my soul, take thine ease, eat and be merry. And in verse 20 of Luke chapter 12, we see what the Lord told him. He thought he was a wise man, but God gave him a name. The Bible said, God said to him, thou fool, because he never had a consciousness of God. He never thought he needed God in his life, so God called him a fool. If you study Psalm 14, verse 1, and the same thing was repeated in Psalm 53, verse 1, that the fool saith in his heart, there's no God. He may not say it verbally, he may not have uttered it, but from his actions, we can see what he's thinking. From his attitude, we can see what is in his heart. So they live life according to their dictates. They live life with ungodly intents and purposes. They live life without God in their plan. The Bible says they did not acknowledge God in their ways. Okay? And Proverbs chapter 14 verse 12 tells us that there is a way that seemeth right unto a man. The same thing was repeated in Proverbs 16 verse 25. That there is a way that seemeth right unto a man. He said, but the end of that way is the way of destruction. When people now think in their life, they now think that they have so much wealth, so much abundance, so much beauty, so much intelligence, so much contact, so much money, they don't need God. So many people think like that. So it's important that we study today to know, why do we need God? In Revelation chapter 3 verse 17, you know, the book of Revelation from chapter 2 was a message to the churches. Jesus got to a point in verse 17 when he said, but thou sayest, I am rich, increased with goods, and have no need of nothing. He said, I know it not that thou art wretched, miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked. You think you have everything, but before God, you are nothing. Outside him, without him. Why do we need God? Number one, the first reason why we need God is because this world is wicked. You cannot understand a product better than the manufacturer. Everyone who wants to understand how to use a product must understand the manual, the manufacturer. We need God because we live in a wicked world. No matter how demonic, how ungodly, how devilish, evil people are, God made them. When you line up with God, it gives you an edge over them. So the first reason why you need God is because this world is wicked. In 1 John chapter 5 and verse 19, the Bible said the whole world lieth in wickedness. It's a wicked world we live in here. It's a wicked world we live in. The whole world lieth in wickedness. In Psalm chapter 7 verse 11, the Lord told us his intention for the wicked every day. He said God is angry with them. So why is God angry with them? Because they are wicked. So every day God is angry. God is unhappy with the wicked. This world is a wicked world. This world is not what you think it is. There are people who have gotten close to friends and they now have a tag. They call them best friends, and yet they get stabbed. They call them close friends. These are beyond acquaintances, and now they get stabbed. Because why? Only God knows the heart of man. In Psalm 41 verse 9, the Bible says, my familiar friend, Psalm chapter 41 and verse 9, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. You need God because this world we are living in is wicked. In Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8, verse 6, sorry. Zechariah 13 verse 6. Zechariah 13 verse 6 said, what are these wounds in my hands? He said, then she shall answer, those are with which I was wounded in the house of my friend. So, the first reason why you need God is because this world is wicked. So you need God. We live in a very, very wicked and very devilish and deadly world. So you cannot survive in this world. You cannot confront wickedness until you have God on your side. In Psalm 55, if we take our reading from verse 12, there was an exposition that was done. He said, it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was he that hated me, that didn't magnify himself against me. I would have hid myself from him. Verse 13 says, but it was thou, man of my equal, my guide, my acquaintance. You see that? You that was my friend, you did this to me. That's the fourth reason why you need God, because we live in a world where you cannot really say, you can define the intention of an individual. In 1 Kings chapter 3, we see two women that lived in the same house. You know, from verse 26 to verse 18, there was a scenario that was painted. Two people lived in the same house, and both of them were harlots. And they gave birth to children. One night, 1 Kings 3, from verse 26. One night, one of them overlaid on her child, and the child died. Before it was morning, the Bible says she took her dead child, dropped in the bed of her friend. Now, both of them got pregnant at the same time. To show the level of bond, the level of friendship they have, they got pregnant at the same time. They gave birth to boys. They stayed in the same room. That's how close they were. Nursed their children together. But when it was time to decide destiny, a woman took her destiny in her hands and said to her friend, I don't need you. In 1 Kings chapter 6, if you read from verse 27 down, you discover the Bible, 26, 27, the Bible says Elijah was walking one time, a king was walking one time, and a lady ran towards the king. 2 Kings chapter 6, ran towards the king and said to the king, said, please, I need help. And the king said, how am I going to help you?